I've been watching the sunrise over the city skyline, waiting on the news to arrive. I'm losing count of all the times I've been searching for a sign at the bottom of a bottle of wine. I'm running for the hills, I'm running to forget my past. I'm running for the hills, I'm running and not looking back. I've been chasing the bright lights, not sure of what I might find. Hanging on the edge of this knife, I got more enemies than I'd like. So I'm trading in this life before I lose my chance to make it right. I'm running for the hills, I'm running to forget my past. I'm running for the hills, I'm running and I'm looking back. I'm not looking back, I'm not looking back. I'm not looking back, I'm not looking back. I'm not looking back. I'm not looking back. Yeah, I'm not looking back. I wasted so much time thinking things were gonna change, but no matter what I tried, it always seemed to stay the same. I'm running for the hills, I'm running to forget my past. I'm running for the hills, I'm running and I'm looking back. I'm not looking back, I'm not looking back. I'm not looking back, I'm not looking back. I'm not looking back. I'm not looking back. I'm not looking back.
All right. So welcome, Wes. Welcome, everyone, to On the Screen, our virtual version of our On the Couch here at Spinnaker. We're going to get started with introductions. So your name, any instruments you play, anything you want to say to the world, kind of plug the band.
Yeah, so my name's Wes Marskell. I've been in the Darcys for a very long time now, coming up on, 10 plus years. I started as the drummer when our band was 4 people, and now there's just 2 of us. So I play a little bit of everything, but I still get to play drums in the live show, which is my favorite part of the whole thing, which has been gone for a long time. So we're starting to do that again, which is lovely. I did a lot of this Zoom stuff, which was no fun. We've been an independent band for a really long time, had some great success on radio and things like that with our last song, Running for the Hills, and just put out a song called Wash Away, which is really exciting to share with people. It's only been out like 2 weeks and I feel alive. I feel excited about it.
All right. Well, we're really excited to be here with you. My name's Skylar. I am the program director here at Spinnaker Radio. So we'll do a little warm-up question. No, nothing serious. I always ask someone something very silly. So my first one is, if you had to be a type of bird, what kind of bird would you be? And you have to make a compelling case for it.
So I feel like I'm trying to learn as an indie artist, like that runs a lot of their own stuff. Like I'm always working, I'm always busy, I'm always doing things, I'm always emailing, I'm Instagram, TikTok, the whole thing. And out front of in the back sort of my house here, there's this tree and there's this nest of hawks that live in the trees. And they just jump off and they just coast. They don't flap their wings. They just have this beautiful sort of like relaxed structure, which they just take, the wing just takes them, they just go where they need to go. And I feel like that is the type of bird that I'm hoping to be in my life. And I can learn to more just go with that flow instead of feeling like I have to be pumping against the wind all the time.
I think that is possibly the most insightful answer I've received to that question. So I commend you.
Thank you.
And then real quick, you are from Toronto, yes?
Originally, Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
I live in LA now.
So we've been having an ongoing conversation here for the past like 45 minutes about Canada geese. So my other question is friend or foe to the geese?
So Canadian geese are friend of no one. And
Okay.
it's funny because they're in Echo Park in LA here, they're everywhere. And they just all had a bunch of baby geese and people just call them geese. And I always feel the need to correct them because how often do you have, such a Canadian export as the Canada goose? But they are vicious,
yes, absolutely,
angry, standoffish birds. I've seen them, when they hiss and they put their head down to the ground. And so I don't know. I've never had a good experience with one. The best experience I've had is seeing the babies, but I just know they're going to grow up into be these terrible birds. So
yeah, absolutely.
Foe to everyone.
Murder birds.
Murder birds, yes.
Yeah, I'm glad we could agree on that. Wonderful. So we'll get actually into it now that we've talked at length about birds. The first thing I was really curious about was the band's name. I'm hoping, Pride and Prejudice, right? Jane Austen,
that's right.
Darcys.
That's the one.
If you want to talk a little bit about how that came to be, I'm very interested in that.
Yeah, we were in university in like an English survey course, and we had all these names sort of in a hat trying to figure out what we wanted to do. And we were going to be called Country Club. We were going to be called all these other things. And the Darcys was just one of the names. And there was a guy there kind of passing through as we were talking about it. And then a week later, we saw this show and this band, the Darcys, was playing. It was a benefit for something. And we were like, okay, well, we can cross that one off the list. And we ran into the guy. He's like, by the way, I booked you guys into a show. You're playing this benefit. I thought that was your band name. And that was just sort of it. So yeah, I came from Pride and Prejudice, reading Pride and Prejudice in university. And then it kind of got picked for us.
That's really cool. So this band got started in college.
Basically, yeah. I moved colleges in Canada and went from the one I was at to the one where Jason was, and we started the band.
Okay, that's awesome because we talk a lot about college bands and we talk to a lot of those people, so it's good to know that you got your roots here.
Totally, yeah, it was a big thing for us.
And I know there has been a little bit of shuffling with members involved. If you want to talk a little bit about the history, how you two got started originally, how people kind of came and went.
Sure. We started, Jason and I met years and years ago, like when we were 14 and knew each other in high school, always liked playing music together. And then we went to separate universities and we ended up back at the same one. And that's how the band started. It's sort of more like we're going to actually play shows and go try to make an effort out of this. And there's some other guys around, people we live with, and we just sort of wrote songs together and started a band. And I think that you forget how lucky bands have to be to that initial group of people to be able to work together and write really good songs. And we were just young and maybe not the best version of this band. And we just played and we toured like Canada and the US for a long time. And then just as things became more serious and there's some traction, I think other people's interest levels or focuses were other places. So then in 2015, I think we set out to make a record, just the two of us. We'd had a couple before that had done pretty well. And that was like the big glow up for the band. And it was like a very different situation after that because it was just Jason and I very invested in the project and working really hard to like push it forward. And people really liked those songs. It was a record called Centerfold. And then we've just been sort of trucking as two people, which has challenges playing live shows, two people, and trying to figure that out and backing tracks and the whole thing. But it's been a pretty amazing journey.
If you want to talk a little more about live shows, that's kind of one of my favorite things to discuss with bands because everyone does it differently. Everyone has totally different experiences, whether it's just playing like local venues or touring. If you have any horror stories or anything funny, there's always something that goes wrong, right? So
well, we've been doing it for so long, we have all of the versions of that answer. I think the big challenge for us was just figuring out how to get two of us to be able to make the sound of 4 or 5 or 10 people, depending on what we recorded. And that took a little while to sort of figure out, but the positive truth of that is that as so many other bands are so big these days and they use so many tracks. I think people are used to that and it makes sense to them. And, there's not many, there's just that old person that comes to the show or whatever. It's like, where's your bassist? I heard the bass, but I don't know where it's come from. So there's that kind of thing. But having toured forever, we've had some amazing things. We've been most places in the world touring, which is kind of impressive. And we've been like robbed and held up at gunpoint. We've been hit by a truck on the highway, like just tons and tons of things. But then we still do it because it's just like the love of touring and being a band. And the worst part about COVID for us, fortunately, was not being able to play shows. And making a record and not being able to play those shows in front of people or those songs at shows in front of people to see how they reacted and things like that. So it was really isolating, I think, for everyone, but especially for us for making music. We just felt like we didn't know how things would react and how things would respond. So getting to play these songs live for the first time in 3 years, has been really great. We just started playing shows again. And then hopefully we can come see you and play down there, and that'd be amazing.
Please. We want y'all.
Yeah. We got to find a way.
Yeah, I was going to say that was my least favorite part about the pandemic, was not being able to go to shows and seeing all those announcements, all those bands going, oh, we canceled this venue. Like, we can't come.
I flew home in late November, early December to play a whole tour. And when I was in the air, I didn't get the internet because I didn't want it. And when I landed, the entire tour had been canceled.
Wow. Without your knowledge, that's insane.
Well, they just had to. It was just like everything that was happening. They just had to shut it all down. I couldn't be like, no, we're going anyway. So
yeah, I wish, right?
yeah.
But then on that note, do you have like a favorite venue that you've done, or maybe even like a favorite audience experience? Because crowds differ. So if there was maybe one place that really showed up for you.
We've had a lot of luck with that everywhere, but we've recently played a batch of shows, and we played in this city in Canada called Edmonton, which is north. It's remote, it's cold, and it was the last show of we have this song called Running for the Hills that was like, I don't know, number 3 or 4 in Canada on alt radio, and we went to play all these radio markets to talk about Washed Away and it coming out not long after. And the last show was this place in Edmonton. It was part of this festival, and it was a smaller gig, but it was like awesome. It was like rammed, and we started playing the first song, and it was just this like horrible buzzing, and then we couldn't hear anything. And like, we've done this a long time, so I'm like used to a technical difficulty too, but the humming just got like so much louder and louder over the course of the thing and with the in-ears and stuff, it's all I could hear. And I've never stopped a show before, but I had to stop the show and pull my in-ears out, because what I figured out was happening was there's a dead line, like for a cable or something that was supposed to be plugged into something that wasn't. And the person that was running the sound, which wasn't our normal person, was just turning it up. Oh so God. had anyone touched that cable that was live somewhere, like the speakers would have exploded. Like, I would have been deaf, like everyone in the audience. It would just been horrible. So we went to, sort of apologize for having to stop, and then the microphones didn't work. It was like a lot like the beginning of this interview, everyone scrambling around, trying to figure it all out. And Jason just said, screw it, and went into the crowd, and didn't have an acoustic guitar, but had an electric guitar, and just played one of our songs. And these younger women in the front, there was like 20 of them, and they just started screaming all the words, like totally out of key, terrible singing, but amazing. And I think the entire energy of the show and everyone at the show felt like they were part of something more exciting and special. And it kind of really like turned over what could have been a really bad moment into like a really fun thing where people felt like connected to the show. So that was really great. And that was the last show I played. So hopefully they're all like that. Yeah.
Right. That's what live shows are about, right? Is that connection.
Exactly.
Getting to
sometimes I feel like
people.
For sure. Sometimes I feel like if you play a perfect show, it's like people are like, oh, that was good, because it just is good. And sometimes you need those little hiccups for it to feel human and connected and stuff like that.
That's awesome. So you were talking a lot about music and some of the more recent stuff kind of taking off. So if you want to talk about kind of like maybe the vibe you got going on, what you guys would define your genre as, and what kind of makes that unique? Why should we go and start listening to the Darcys?
That's a great question. I mean, it's funny. We used to be like so decidedly like alternative or like alternative rock, I guess, but alternative is just such a like Billie Eilish and all that stuff is just, the term is so esoteric now that I don't know what anything is really. Like how would I have no idea how I would like genre describe us really. I guess we're like an alternative rock band at its core. That's the not fun answer, but I think we try to like have fun with the music. I think it's like kind of tongue in cheek at times. Lyrically, it can be dark, but I think it's kind of fun. And I think if you get sort of let in on that joke, it can be a little more enjoyable. I think the live show is great. I think that, you know, what we're doing is just trying to be free and really just learn that. I think this is a great lesson for any young band starting, is that you can't force a song or try to be creative specifically for a platform for something to succeed. You just have to do what you think is good and what connects with you and what you believe in. Because if you make these songs, like you want to make a radio song and it doesn't work on radio, then like it's really hard to relate to that song or connect with it because it kind of feels like it failed. Whereas if you just love something and you create something that you really care about and then it succeeds or fails, you still feel great about that thing and that product or that whatever it becomes that you have to live with for the rest of your life, and that will live on long past your life on the internet, it feels like at this point. So yeah, I think we're just trying to do what we think is good. And it's been really, really rewarding and enjoyable. And for a long time, we were like so focused on getting it on here or getting on this or doing that. And that freedom has really, I think, led to the recent success. And it's just a fluke, but it feels good. So it's been fun.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you're really passionate about creating and what you're putting out. So has music been like, you've known from the start that this was you and you were going to be doing music your whole life, or did you have an original plan that kind of went sideways?
Like to be an astronaut or something?
Yeah, you know.
No, it was funny. Jason and I were going to rehearsal the other day and I was asking him what he wanted to be doing. He was like 5 or 6. And he said he wanted to design cars and he used to draw cars. Like, I'm sure the drawings were terrible. He was like 5, but that was what he wanted to do. And I just said, from the beginning, just always wanted to be in a band.
Wow. So
I think I just didn't want a job. I didn't want somebody to tell me
none of us do, right?
Right.
Everyone wants to be a rock star.
That's right.
So this is a full-time thing for you? Like this is what you do?
Yeah. For a long time now, we've just been doing it. It's a lot of work to make it work when you're not a massive band. But yeah, we've been very lucky.
Yeah. And because you mentioned earlier about Monday and your email blowing up and everything. So
because we have a music video coming out and, you know, other stations. We've been really lucky with this song on college radio and stuff. Like we've been like, I have like 30 interviews people want to set up. I'm not doing them all, but this one seemed fun. But
oh my gosh.
That's right. But so it's just been a busy day trying to triangulate everything. And then we're playing a show in Cleveland at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on Saturday. And so we have to get a new rehearsal space and then fly there. So it's been a Monday, you know. Wow. No one does anything on the weekend. And then Monday everyone hits you up 20 times over. So I
can relate to that. I'm glad we could get you down for a couple minutes then. That's really great.
That's perfect.
LA. How did you end up in LA since you're a Canada native there? I mean, that's a big
That's right.
change.
I just said, I'm done with the snow. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't know. That was one of my other emails was I was on with my lawyer because my visa has to renew. But I've always wanted to move here. As a kid, I just like loved it. The Hollywood thing, the ambition thing, the excess thing, the ridiculousness. And then, you know, coming here, my partner is down here and being together and creating, and it's just magical. It's terrible and horrible. And there's a lot of social structures that are missing and there's a lot of problems, but there's also just this a lovely magicalness to everyone wants to be a star and everyone has this ambition to be bigger than they are and be creative. And it's just exciting. And for a Canadian band or for Canadian musicians, it's just so much bigger. The ceiling in Canada is just lower and everyone has to sort of export to the US. And being down here and be able to get in front of the people that you want to share your music with has been like wonderful. And people have been really supportive, but it's also, I think COVID has changed a lot. Like, in just emailing you about the song or whatever can just spark a little bit of a boost and get people engaged. So I don't know. It's it's just been a great thing. The only hard thing for me as a person living in LA, coming from Toronto, is it's hard to write songs or work because it's just 40 degrees all the time. You want to go to the beach or like go outside and you forget you have to, write
That's
songs
great.
about something.
Yeah. Do you have anything that kind of motivates you? Because I write a lot and I just tend writer's block always, constantly about anything.
Right.
I'm like, oh, I have to write this. So do you force yourself to sit down and write, or is it just when it comes to you? Maybe you're at the beach and you hear this melody in your head, and now you've got this weird phone recording of it. Like, what's the process there?
Yeah, it was like I thought I was going through writer's block a little while ago, and I kind of don't believe in it as a thing. Not that I'm reducing your experience with it. I just feel like it's overcomable, and it's just I do feel like I go through these like periods of like creativity, and like I feel like I want to be writing and I want to do stuff, and there's other times when I just don't, and I sometimes don't force those moments, and I should, I think, because it always happens where it's like we need a song, radio team needs a song, or Spotify needs a song or whatever, and it's like, oh, we have to write the song now. And we could have just been writing them for the last year and we don't have any. So I'm trying to become more consistent and, jot down, song titles or melodies or lyric ideas, or just have something in the go, or even just compiling songs that I think are cool and that I would want to do something not like, but, I use as a reference to create something. So, and if I really get stuck on a song, sometimes I'll write over top of another song. Like I'll listen to something I think is really cool and then try to just write some lyrics or some ideas, and then I'll ship it to Jason. I say ship it, like he lives like 5 blocks from here, but I'll send it to him and I'll not give him the reference tracks. You'll have no idea about any of that, and then we'll sort of like build it from there. And it sometimes helps just get out of your head about like, just, it's so hard, I think, as any kind of writer, to stare at a blank page and be like, okay, I just have to write the best thing ever now.
Right. Yeah.
So I just try to find ways to write things and just, have ideas, and then go on a walk or something and mull them about in my head, and then they sometimes turn into something. Like Running for the Hills was the last song we put out, and I had that idea for that chorus for like 3 years, and it was just in my brain, and I just couldn't fit the pieces together, and then one day we did.
Wow, that is
yeah. And then Washed Away we wrote in 25 minutes from scratch.
So it just as it comes, right?
Yeah.
Feeling toxic third day in a row. Serotonin at an all-time low. Self-medicate, you know how it goes when you're caught up in the undertow. So take my hand, I need your help. Pull me up, come on, pull me out. I understand how far I fell. Pull me up, come on, pull me out. I've been sucked in by the riptide and I'm losing my mind. Everyone has got their hands up, but they're waving goodbye. Getting washed away, I'm getting washed away, I'm getting washed away. Expectations at an all-time high. Work you over in a cocktail line. Contact list they got all the time. When you have something that they like. So take my hand, I need your help. Pull me up, come on, pull me out. I understand how far I fell. Pull me up, come on, pull me out. I've been sucked in by the riptide and I'm losing my mind. Everyone has got their hands up, but they're waving goodbye. Getting washed away, I'm getting washed away, I'm getting washed away. I've been sucked in by the riptide and I'm losing my mind. Everyone has got their hands up, but they're waving goodbye. Getting washed away, I'm getting washed away, I'm getting washed away. If you sing alone, you never have to be alone. I want you to know that I've been there before, and I'll pull you out, I'll pull you out, I'll pull you out, I'll pull you out. If you sink low, low. I've been sucked in by the riptide and I'm losing my mind. Everyone has got their hands up but they're waving goodbye. Getting washed away, I'm getting washed away, I'm getting washed away. I'm getting washed away, I'm getting washed away, I'm getting washed away.
And is there anyone that, like, do you kind of spearhead the songwriting, or is it just whoever?
Jason and I write together a lot. We always write together. And I think lyrically, I do a lot of lyric writing, and sometimes that just helps the song get started. Because I think when you have a bunch of instrumental tracks, sometimes it can be hard to just pick one because the melody is so important, especially in today's music and stuff like that. So I try to have an idea or concept or something like that. But then Jason really, really takes it from there.
Right. That's awesome that you guys work so well then, because this has been a long partnership, right?
Yeah, we just have a shorthand at this point, which is how it works. You know, we just know how to communicate.
That's really great. So I guess we'll end on this a little bit. Any new music this year, like what's in progress, if you want to give us a sneak peek on how you think everything's gonna kind of move forward for the Darcys, like where you guys gonna be in a year maybe?
I hopefully playing shows, like a lot of shows, but we have an acoustic version of Wash Away that I'm going to put out in a little while, a couple weeks, I think, just to engage and have fun with the song. And we have another cover we recorded, which I love, and I think it's super fun. And then we're working towards another single at the end of the summer. And then I am hopeful that we're going to put an EP out in the fall. That's the big plan right now. The only issue being an indie band is you don't have a boss or a label that says
you got to do
you
this
have to do this.
Yeah.
And so then I can be like, I'll just move the timeline like a month or a year or whatever. So that's the plan. That's the focus. Not written the songs for it yet. So there's that. but that's the plan. That'll come. Sometimes writing the songs is the easiest and most fun part about being in a band by far. Everything else is the hard part, right? So I think we'll get there.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much. If you want to give us all your handles where we can find the Darcys on Spotify, Instagram, everything.
The Darcys is on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, all that stuff. At the Darcys on Instagram and TikTok, and then at It's the Darcys on Twitter and Facebook.
TikTok. All right.
Oh yeah.
Fun one.
My favorite thing to do since COVID.
It's been a pleasure. So thank you so much for giving us your time. We've really appreciated it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, have a lovely rest of your Monday.
You too.
All right.
A heart-shaped tub in a cheap motel, a summer night with the blonde bombshell, by the pool drinking Zinfandel. I knew I shouldn't, but I still fell. It's not about what's wrong or right, baby, come inside. It's raining in Palm Springs tonight. You got me chasing the fall. You got me chasing and risking it all. You got me chasing the fall. You got me chasing and risking it all. I'm chasing your love, and I want it all. We walked in, put it all on red. look casual across the bed, but there's no jackpot in the end. Our love pays out dividends. It's not about what's wrong or right, baby, come inside. It's raining in Palm Springs tonight. You got me chasing the fall. You got me chasing and risking it all. You got me chasing the fall. You got me chasing and risking it all. I'm chasing your love, and I want it all. I'm chasing your love, and I want it all. I wanna ride your wave, ride your wave till it ends, yeah, till it ends. It's not about what's wrong or right, baby, come inside. It's raining in Palm Springs tonight. You got me chasing the fall. You got me chasing and risking it all. You got me chasing the fall. You got me chasing and risking it all. I'm chasing your love, and I want it all. I'm chasing your love, and I want it all.